Have you ever stood up from a chair, only to feel your legs wobble slightly? Or noticed how carrying groceries or climbing stairs feels heavier than it used to, even though your weight hasn't changed? Here's something most people don't know. After the age of 60, we lose about 3 to 5% of our muscle mass each decade. That's not just about strength. That's about independence, balance, and brain function. Because when your muscles shrink, your metabolism slows. Your coordination suffers. And worst of all, your brain receives fewer signals from your body, which, over time, can actually accelerate cognitive decline. But here's the twist. Your body still has the ability to rebuild muscle. Yes, even at 60, 70, or beyond. The problem isn't age. The problem is that we're often missing the right biological signals, the right tools, to activate muscle growth again. And this is where things get interesting. You've probably heard of protein, resistance training, or walking more. But today, we're going deeper into the neuroscience of muscle regeneration and the surprising power of what's in your cup. Because certain teas, yes, teas, contain potent bioactive compounds that activate the same cellular pathways involved in muscle repair, inflammation control, and even mitochondrial function. This is not about sipping green tea and hoping for the best. This is about unlocking 3 specific teas that stimulate satellite cells, your body's natural muscle repair units, enhance blood flow and oxygen delivery to muscle tissue, lower chronic inflammation that blocks recovery, and even improve joint comfort so you can move without pain. In a moment, I'll walk you through each of these teas, one of which was used in a Japanese study to restore muscle strength in seniors in just 8 weeks. Another helps regulate mTOR, the master switch for muscle protein synthesis. And the third? It's a powerhouse antioxidant that also lifts your mood and motivation to move. But more than that, I want to explain why these work. What's happening in your body, in your nerves, your hormones, and your cells that makes these teas more than just a cozy ritual. We'll explore 6 powerful insights, including why rebuilding muscle is more about your nervous system than your dumbbells, the silent biological block that makes exercise less effective after 60, how certain plant compounds mimic the signals of exercise, even when you're at rest, what neuroscience shows about movement, motivation, and mood, a strange tea that enhances blood flow like cardio without raising your heart rate, and the exact timing protocol to drink each tea for maximum muscle activation. So if you're over 60 and feel like your strength is slipping away, or you want to walk tall and steady for decades to come, this video is for you. Let's get into the science, the tools, and the small daily actions that rebuild your strength from the inside out. Let me start with a surprising truth that most fitness advice overlooks. After 60, the most powerful muscle-building organ in your body isn't your legs, arms, or chest. It's your nervous system. See, every time you move, whether you stand up, take a step, or lift a grocery bag, your muscles aren't just acting on their own. They're responding to tiny electrical signals sent from your brain through your spinal cord and nerves. Those signals are what tell your muscles to contract, with how much force, and for how long. Here's where it gets interesting. As we age, it's not just our muscles that weaken. It's the signaling pathways between the brain and the body. They slow down. They become less coordinated. And crucially, they stop activating as many muscle fibers. This is called neuromuscular degradation, and it's one of the hidden reasons why people over 60 feel weaker, even when they haven't lost much muscle mass yet. A 2016 study published in the Journal of Physiology found that older adults activate fewer motor units during movement compared to younger individuals. Motor units are clusters of muscle fibers controlled by a single nerve. When fewer of these units are fired up, the muscle can't generate full force, even if it's physically intact. So how do we restore this brain-to-muscle connection? Here's the good news. Certain compounds found in herbal teas can improve neuromuscular signaling. One of the most promising? Ginseng tea. Specifically, Panax ginseng. Now before you roll your eyes and think, isn't that just an energy booster? Let's look at the science. Ginseng contains active compounds called ginsenosides, which have been shown to enhance acetylcholine activity in the brain, a neurotransmitter crucial for motor control, muscle contraction, and coordination. In a 2020 randomized controlled trial for nutrients, researchers found that older adults who took ginseng extract for just 12 weeks had improved grip strength, better walking speed, and enhanced balance. That's not magic. That's neurotransmission being reactivated. What's happening in your brain is this. Ginsenosides help your neurons fire more efficiently and communicate faster. This leads to better recruitment of motor units, which results in stronger muscle contractions, especially during walking, standing, and lifting tasks. So if you feel like your body isn't responding the way it used to, part of the issue may be that your muscle signal is fading. And this tea? It helps turn the volume back up. How to use it? Here's a simple tool. Drink 1 cup of Panax ginseng tea mid-morning, preferably before a walk or light movement. Avoid taking it too late in the day. Ginseng can slightly elevate alertness. Choose a standardized ginseng root tea or extract with 5% ginsenosides for reliable potency. You may feel more energized at first, but the deeper change is in your movement quality. More stability, more strength, more control. And remember, this is not about replacing exercise. It's about making movement effective again by restoring the neural input your body needs to build muscle. If your nervous system isn't engaged, your muscles are like lights with a weak switch, flickering but never fully on. But when the signal is strong, even small movements become muscle-building movements. And that's the shift we're aiming for. Now, the silent enemy of strength after 60. One that creeps in quietly, blocks muscle growth at the cellular level, and even damages your joints. And yes, there's a tea that can stop it in its tracks. Have you ever exercised, eaten well, even taken supplements, and still felt like your body wasn't recovering? Like the soreness lingers, your energy dips, and your muscles just don't bounce back? You're not imagining it. This is one of the biggest hidden reasons seniors struggle to rebuild strength. Chronic, low-grade inflammation. Now, inflammation itself isn't bad. Short-term inflammation, like after a workout or injury, is part of how your body heals. But when inflammation becomes chronic, even at low levels, it acts like static in your body's recovery system. And here's what most people miss. Inflammation directly interferes with muscle protein synthesis. A study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, 2018, found that elevated levels of inflammatory markers like IL-6 and TNF-alpha were strongly associated with reduced muscle mass and function in older adults. In simpler terms, the more inflammation, the harder it is for your body to build or repair muscle, no matter how much protein or exercise you're doing. Why? Because chronic inflammation disrupts anabolic signaling, especially the mTOR pathway, which is essential for triggering muscle repair after activity. It also damages mitochondria, increases oxidative stress, and delays healing, especially in joints and connective tissue. That leads to stiffness, longer recovery, and in many cases, fear of movement. And when you stop moving, the decline accelerates. But here's the empowering part. Nature provides compounds that fight inflammation at the root, not just mask it. And one of the most effective? Turmeric tea. Specifically, turmeric combined with black pepper. Turmeric contains curcumin, a polyphenol that directly inhibits inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-1 beta. But curcumin alone is poorly absorbed until you add piperine, the active compound in black pepper. That combination increases absorption by up to 2,000%. Now, let's look at the results. A 2021 study in Nutrients found that seniors who consumed curcumin daily experienced significant improvements in muscle soreness, walking distance, and inflammation markers within just 8 weeks. Another study in the Journal of Medicinal Food, 2017, showed curcumin supplementation helped preserve muscle mass during periods of disuse, like post-surgery recovery. So what's happening in your body when you drink this tea? Think of chronic inflammation as a fog over your muscle-building machinery. Turmeric cuts through that fog, clearing the pathways so your body can respond again. And this doesn't just improve how you feel, it actually resensitizes your muscles to growth signals. Here's your protocol. Drink 1 cup of turmeric tea in the evening, about 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Always combine turmeric with a small pinch of black pepper and a healthy fat, like a dash of coconut milk or MCT oil, to enhance absorption. Use a high-quality organic turmeric powder or a standardized curcumin extract tea bag. Why evening? Because inflammation naturally rises at night, especially in older adults. Taking turmeric before bed supports overnight recovery, when your muscles repair and your brain resets. Now, a quick reminder. If this kind of science-backed, empowering content is helping you, consider subscribing. This channel is about actionable neuroscience and real tools for mind-body strength, and there's more to come. Back to the tea. The real power of turmeric is that it helps your body trust movement again. When inflammation drops, pain fades. And when pain fades, you move. And movement, my friend, is medicine. Now, we go deeper into the engine room of your muscles. The part that determines not just strength, but endurance, stamina, and cellular energy. You might be eating enough protein, but if this part of your body is slowing down, your muscles simply can't respond. Luckily, there's a tea that directly targets. You've probably heard this before. To build muscle, eat more protein. And that's true. Protein provides the amino acid building blocks your body needs. But here's the part most people miss, especially after 60. Your body can't use those amino acids unless your cells have enough energy. And where does that energy come from? From tiny power plants inside your cells called mitochondria. They generate ADP, the fuel that every muscle contraction, repair process, and recovery mechanism runs on. Now here's the challenge. After the age of 60, mitochondrial function declines sharply. In fact, research from the Journal of Clinical Investigation shows that mitochondrial efficiency drops by up to 30% between our 40s and 70s. That means less cellular energy, slower muscle repair, and more fatigue, even if you're eating perfectly and exercising regularly. So if you feel like your body is doing less with more, fewer results from the same effort, mitochondrial slowdown could be the culprit. But there's good news. There are natural compounds that stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis. That is, they help your cells create more mitochondria and work more efficiently. And one of the most promising? Rooibos tea. Now, rooibos, pronounced rooibos, is a naturally caffeine-free red tea from South Africa, traditionally used to support circulation, digestion, and stress relief. But modern science is uncovering something remarkable. Rooibos contains aspalathin, a rare antioxidant that activates a key metabolic regulator called AMPK. What does AMPK do? It tells your cells to start cleaning up damaged mitochondria and build new ones, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. It's the same pathway activated by exercise and intermittent fasting, but rooibos can help mimic those effects at the cellular level. A 2019 study in the Journal of Functional Foods found that aspalathin from rooibos tea significantly improved mitochondrial density and energy production in muscle cells, especially under oxidative stress, which is common in aging bodies. Another study from Oxidative Medicine and Cellular Longevity showed that rooibos reduced markers of muscle fatigue and improved exercise tolerance in animal models, suggesting a real performance benefit. So what's happening in your body when you drink it? Your cells, especially in muscle tissue, begin to clear out worn-out mitochondria and generate fresh ones. That means more energy, faster muscle recovery, and better endurance, not just during exercise, but throughout your day. Even more interesting, rooibos also supports glucose metabolism, helping shuttle nutrients into muscle cells more effectively. That's a huge win for older adults managing insulin resistance or prediabetes, both of which affect muscle growth. Here's your simple protocol. Drink 1 to 2 cups of rooibos tea in the afternoon, ideally between lunch and dinner. Brew for at least 7 to 10 minutes to extract full antioxidant content. Choose pure, organic rooibos, not flavored blends, to maximize aspalathin intake. Why afternoon? Because that's when most people experience a dip in energy, and this tea gives your mitochondria a gentle, sustained push without the crash of caffeine. And unlike green or black tea, rooibos won't interfere with your sleep. In fact, it may actually support it through its calming effects on the nervous system. If you're thinking, can tea really do all this? The answer is, not alone. But when paired with smart habits, movement, rest, protein intake. These T's act like catalysts, helping your body use what you're already giving it more effectively. Now, we're going to talk about something equally critical, blood flow. Because even with strong mitochondria and reduced inflammation, your muscles still need one thing to repair and grow: oxygen, nutrients, circulation, and the T that improves all three might just be the most underrated performance enhancer for seniors yet. You could be doing everything right, eating enough protein, moving daily, even getting quality sleep. But if your circulation is poor, your muscles still won't rebuild properly. Here's why. Muscle repair requires a consistent supply of oxygen, amino acids, electrolytes, and growth signals. And all of those ride in your bloodstream. So if blood flow is sluggish, even slightly, it's like trying to water a garden with a kinked hose. Nothing gets where it needs to go, and everything starts to weaken. This is especially true after 60. As we age, our blood vessels naturally stiffen. Endothelial function, the ability of your arteries to dilate and respond to demand, declines. And nitric oxide, the molecule that signals blood vessels to open up, drops by up to 50%. The result? Slower recovery, cold hands and feet, lower endurance, and muscles that stay sore longer and grow slower, even if you're moving every day. But here's the fix. Increase nitric oxide production naturally. And one of the best ways to do that, backed by research, is with beetroot tea. Yes, you heard that right. Not beetroot juice, which can spike blood sugar, but beetroot tea, a lighter, more stable form that delivers the same active compounds without the sugar load. Beets are rich in dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. That nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax and expand, boosting circulation to your muscles, brain, and heart. In a landmark study published in Circulation Research, older adults who consumed dietary nitrates daily had improved blood flow, enhanced exercise tolerance, and better muscle oxygenation. Another 2020 paper in the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that beetroot intake improved muscle contractility in aging populations, especially during walking and climbing stairs. So what happens in your body when you drink beetroot tea? Your blood vessels begin to dilate. More oxygen reaches your muscle fibers. Nutrients are delivered faster, and waste products are removed more efficiently. Muscle soreness decreases, and your capacity to build and repair muscle, especially after walking or resistance training, increases. But there's more. Nitric oxide also enhances neurovascular coupling, the connection between blood flow and brain function. That means you may notice clearer thinking, more motivation, and better coordination when blood flow improves. Here's your protocol. Drink 1 cup of beetroot tea about 60 minutes before physical activity, whether that's walking, yoga, or light strength training. If you're not exercising, you can still drink it mid-morning to boost circulation and support nutrient delivery. Choose a tea made from dried beetroot powder or beetroot flakes, ideally organic and with no added sugar. Pro tip: to further enhance nitric oxide production, you can pair beetroot tea with a few deep nasal breaths before movement. Why? Because nitric oxide is also produced in your nasal passages, and nasal breathing amplifies its effects. So if you felt that your muscles just aren't responding the way they used to, before you change your workout, check your blood flow. Because sometimes it's not the effort that's lacking, it's the delivery system. And now that we've tackled the nervous system, inflammation, mitochondria, and circulation, you might be wondering, what about motivation? What about that inner drive to move, especially when energy is low? There's one T left. It doesn't just help your muscles. It supports your mood, mental clarity, and motivation to stay active. And it might just be the most powerful one yet. Stay with me. Let's be honest. Some days, the biggest challenge isn't lifting the weight. It's lifting the will to even begin. You might know what you should do. Walk more. Stretch. Stay consistent. But there's this invisible resistance, like a weight in your mind, making everything feel harder than it should. That's not laziness. That's not age. That's neurochemistry. You see, your motivation to move, to act, to engage with life isn't just about discipline. It's driven by dopamine, acetylcholine, and other neurotransmitters that regulate focus, movement, and drive. And as we age, these chemicals naturally decline, especially if inflammation is present, or sleep isn't optimal, or stress is chronic. This is where most fitness and health advice misses the mark. They focus only on muscles. But forget the brain is the command center. If your brain doesn't have the right fuel, the signal to move never even gets sent. But here's the good news. You can nourish those motivation pathways. And one of the best tools to do that, according to both neuroscience and tradition, is yerba mate tea. Yes, the same tea that's been used in South American cultures for centuries to spark energy, focus, and connection. Now, what makes yerba mate so special? First, it contains a unique combination of compounds. Caffeine, but at moderate levels. Theobromine, a mild stimulant also found in dark chocolate. Chlorogenic acids, potent antioxidants that reduce inflammation in the brain. And saponins, compounds that may protect neurons from age-related decline. But the real magic of yerba mate lies in its dopaminergic effects. Research published in Phytotherapy Research found that yerba mate modulates dopamine receptors in the brain, particularly in areas responsible for motivation and movement initiation. In other words, it doesn't just wake you up, it helps you want to move. A 2022 study from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience showed that older adults who consumed yerba mate had improved motor coordination, reaction time, and subjective feelings of energy, even without changes in exercise routine. So what's happening in your brain? Here's the breakdown. Dopamine gives you that spark, the "I should go for a walk today" signal. Acetylcholine sharpens focus and helps the brain talk to the muscles with precision. Yerba mate supports both, enhancing brain-to-body communication and motivation. And it's not just about movement. When dopamine and acetylcholine levels rise, you also feel more engaged, more curious, more alive. And that sense of vitality? That's what keeps people thriving, not just surviving, in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Here's your protocol. Drink 1 cup of yerba mate in the late morning, ideally between breakfast and lunch. Avoid drinking it too late in the day. The mild caffeine can affect sensitive sleepers. Brew it for 3 to 5 minutes, and consider adding a squeeze of lemon or mint to balance the flavor. Pro tip: yerba mate pairs beautifully with light movement. Sip it, then take a short walk, even just 5 to 10 minutes, and notice how your mood responds. Now, a gentle word of caution. Yerba mate is stimulating. If you have high blood pressure or are sensitive to caffeine, start with a small amount and observe how your body responds. Always consult your healthcare provider if unsure. But used wisely, this tea isn't just a pick-me-up. It's a neurochemical reset, one that can reignite the brain-body loop and help you get back to consistent, joyful movement again. And now, we'll pull it all together, because what you drink matters. But when you drink it might matter even more. You now know which teas can restore your strength. But if you're still drinking them at random times, or just whenever you remember, you're only getting part of the benefit. Because here's a powerful truth. The timing of tea matters almost as much as the tea itself. Just like your muscles follow a rhythm, so does your nervous system, your hormone output, your digestion, and your inflammation cycle. And when you align what you put in your body with when your body needs it, you unlock a level of strength, recovery, and vitality that most people never reach. Let me explain. Every 24 hours, your body moves through a circadian pattern, a natural clock that governs everything from cortisol to melatonin to digestive enzymes. And the teas we've discussed? They each support a different part of that rhythm. So here's a simple, science-backed timing protocol that turns your teas into tools. Morning, 8 to 10 a.m. ginseng tea. Why? This is when acetylcholine levels are naturally rising, and when your nervous system is most responsive to stimulation. Ginseng supports neuromuscular signaling and sets the tone for movement quality throughout the day. Protocol: brew 1 cup, sip slowly, and pair it with light movement. A morning stretch, walk, or light resistance work. Late morning, 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. yerba mate tea. Why? This is your brain's peak dopamine window. Drinking yerba mate here boosts motivation and focus, making it easier to follow through on movement goals and mentally demanding tasks. Protocol: Drink 1 cup mid-morning before a walk or standing activity. Avoid pairing with a heavy meal to prevent energy dips. Afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m. rooibos tea. Why? This is when mitochondrial function and circulation tend to dip, especially in older adults. Rooibos supports cellular energy and metabolic cleanup when fatigue hits. Protocol: enjoy 1 to 2 cups as an afternoon ritual. No caffeine means no sleep disruption. Bonus: it can help curb sugar cravings due to better glucose handling. Pre-activity: 30 to 60 minutes before movement. Beetroot tea. Why? Beetroot boosts nitric oxide, which enhances blood flow and oxygen delivery. Ideal before a walk, strength session, or gardening. Protocol: brew 1 cup before planned physical activity. Best when consumed consistently for 2+ weeks to build nitric oxide reserves. Evening: 1 hour before bed. Turmeric plus black pepper tea. Why? This is when inflammation tends to spike and recovery begins. Curcumin calms the immune system and supports overnight muscle repair. Protocol: combine turmeric powder, a pinch of black pepper, and a teaspoon of coconut oil or MCT oil in warm water or almond milk. Sip slowly while winding down. Now, do you need to drink all 5 of these teas every day? Not necessarily. A practical approach: start with 2 based on your biggest needs. If stiffness and soreness are slowing you down, try turmeric at night and ginseng in the morning. If fatigue and low motivation are the issue, try yerba mate late morning and rooibos mid-afternoon. If you want to walk longer, climb stairs easier, or improve recovery, use beetroot tea before activity and turmeric after. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. By aligning the timing of what you drink with the natural rhythms of your brain and body, you give yourself the best chance to not just survive aging, but to thrive through it. Now, we'll bring everything together. All the science, all the tools, and the one simple action you can take today to start walking stronger, no matter your age. Let's take a step back. You've just learned that rebuilding muscle after 60 isn't just about exercise. It's about reactivating your body's entire internal ecosystem. Your brain, your nerves, your blood flow, your cells, your motivation. And something as simple and daily as tea, when chosen and timed correctly, can become a powerful ally in that process. So let's quickly recap the 6 core insights. First, we uncovered that the nervous system is the real muscle builder after 60. Without strong brain-to-muscle signals, strength gains stall. Ginseng tea helps reignite those pathways by supporting acetylcholine and coordination. Second, we explored how chronic inflammation silently blocks recovery and growth. Turmeric tea, especially when paired with black pepper and healthy fats, clears that internal fog, making your body responsive again. Third, we tackled the myth that muscle only needs protein. In truth, muscle repair requires mitochondrial energy, and rooibos tea fuels those tiny power plants within your cells, giving you stamina and deeper cellular recovery. Fourth, we uncovered how blood flow is the delivery system for all growth. Beetroot tea enhances nitric oxide, improving circulation so nutrients and oxygen can actually reach your muscle fibers when they need it most. Fifth, we dug into the neuroscience behind motivation, because let's face it, knowing isn't doing. Yerba mate tea lights up dopamine and acetylcholine, helping you want to move again, even when energy is low. And finally, we discussed how timing is everything. When you drink these teas, morning, pre-activity, evening, can multiply their impact and synchronize with your body's natural healing rhythms. Now, you might be wondering, what's the point of all this effort? Why rebuild muscle in my 60s or 70s? Here's why. Because muscle is not just about looking fit. It's about freedom. Freedom to walk without fear, to carry your own groceries, to play with your grandkids, to feel stable on your feet and confident in your stride. Muscle is also one of the most protective factors against aging-related decline. It supports your metabolism, protects your joints, and even improves brain health by sending feedback to your nervous system. In fact, multiple studies, including one in the Journal of Gerontology, show that greater muscle mass in older adults is directly associated with longer lifespan, reduced fall risk, and better cognitive performance. So here's your challenge. Choose just one tea we discussed today. Start there. Brew it. Drink it. Pay attention to how your body feels. Then, as that becomes part of your rhythm, layer in another. Small steps build momentum, and momentum rebuilds strength. You don't have to do everything, but you do have to begin. And if this message resonated with you, if it sparked curiosity or hope, or even just a moment of clarity, I invite you to do two things right now. Leave a comment below and let us know. Which tea are you going to start with? And what's your current goal? More energy? Better balance? Less soreness? Subscribe to this channel. Because this isn't just a video, it's a movement. A community of people reclaiming their strength, their health, and their quality of life with science-backed tools that actually work. And every week, I'll be here, breaking down complex neuroscience, physiology, and psychology into practical, empowering steps you can use to feel better, think clearer, and walk stronger for years to come. You deserve to feel powerful in your body again. Let's rebuild, one sip, one step, one habit at a time.